Descent 1 from 1995, made by Parallax Software and published by Interplay. This is a revered classic game among MS-DOS gamers, offering full 3D motion with yaw, pitch, roll, and allows truly 3D maps way above what Doom could manage just a couple of years prior. But today I'll show you the setup I use for this playthrough of the game that I'm working on these days. Let's just say that it is non-traditional. Descent 1 works really well with the keyboard, and the manual also offers a healthy variety of joystick options. The thing is, with this game, is that the basic 2-button Graphis joystick is not really sufficient to let you get the full control away from the keyboard. This is where one of these comes in, a DualShock controller for PlayStation 4. These modern gamepads have so many buttons and triggers. Can they let you play Descent 1 away from the keyboard? I want to share with you what I found out. Here's my 486 DX266, which is fine for many games. For Descent 1, however, I need more oomph, so we'll fire it up with this WC that I built for myself in 2021, which uses a Vortex 86DX system on module inside. I still mean to do a video on my experience about that one day, but stay tuned for that on this channel. This will give me a kind of strange 486 Pentium 1 era performance, technically at 800 MHz. But when you actually perform benchmarks, such as run some tests on Doom 1, the results come up as an equivalent to a Pentium MMX 233 MHz or so. It really depends on the application, but let's call it simple and just say that it smokes out any 486 out there and most low Pentiums. Okay, so the next step is quite ridiculous. I bring the USB 4VC unit here with the Raspberry Pi hiding behind this plate, and then the IBM PC protocol card is here. So first things first, I pair the game port with this chunky cable, DB15 cable. And I connect it to the protocol card right there. And since I quite like having some of the commands on my DualShock issue some keyboard keystrokes in Descent, I need to also make the protocol card act with the PS2 for the keyboard. So connect here. But then I have to disconnect the regular keyboard, which is connected here with the splitter here in the main PS2 port of my WC. So out goes the regular keyboard, this one, and in goes the USB for VC. So it can take total control of what happens with the keyboard commands. And last but not least, I think it is possible to attempt to get 5-volt power through the game port to this unit, but it's not enough, so we have to beef up with a USB-C connection here. Then it's just a short wait. I'll skip it so that the Raspberry Pi boots up. And about after 1 minute or two, it's done. So we can see it, some activity on the screen here. I've previously paired a DualShock 2 controller to it, so let's just open it up. All right, so it's detected. So let's do some tests on the Joystick application. Oh yeah, one thing I should mention is that because I gave up control to the regular PS2 keyboard, I'm gonna use the USB port on the WC, and it's a life-saving feature right now because of this. So I've got back keyboard control and I can move into games or move out and such. So let's see how the DualShock fares. I can test out the two thumbsticks. But there seems to be a stability problem in the bottom right corner, as you can see. You can see the crosshair jitter here. Same with the right thumbstick, and it doesn't have the same problem on the upper left corner. Calibrate the center with I and J. And now it's more stable in the middle. Same with the right thumbstick. But still, it jitters in the bottom right corner. If I try to force the bottom corner with 2, you can see it's still kind of crappy. It moves around sometimes. Most games will attempt to calibrate the joystick by asking you to go to the top left, the bottom right, and then go back to the center, which is what exactly happens in Descent. So who knows if this is very stable. So let's get the game running. Let's pick Sound Blaster at high resolution. The VC can take it. It's 640 by 480. Very important to start with joystick calibration first. I press F4. And let's go. Forward and backward. Sliding up, down, and left, right. And shooting. And pitch is the left thumbstick. Rolling with the D-pad. Problem that arises when you plug in your joystick is, well, your game port is completely dedicated to it. You may have noticed that Descent can be configured to use general MIDI for its music while still dealing with sound effects through the Sound Blaster. And I have such a device here. I have a few MIDI modules that can be used for Descent, but I'm going to concentrate on the Roland Sound Canvas 88 here. However, most people don't own a ISA MIDI interface card like the very expensive MPU 401, but in any way, it could not fit inside this minuscule case. So the popular choice is to use pin 12 of the game port and another pin for a 5-volt reference such as pin 8 or 15. But you see the problem. You need some way to zero in on these 2 pins, so this is what this self-made cable does. I bought this male DB15 breakout adapter online cheaply and soldered this wire to this minuscule perf board just to hold down the MIDI socket and tie it to some pins for easy connection with these DuPont wires. So this is fine if you go all in with MIDI out and you're just happy playing some music. But you see the problem. You'll lose access to your joystick and that's bad too. Therefore, you need some help with this also self-made cable that I did a few years ago that I still really hope is holding up after all these years that I've made it. This connects to your PC and wires up the pins important to the joystick here, and only takes the 2 wires needed for MIDI out to here. So it goes together like so. And finally, I hook up the USB for VC and the forked joystick hand. How's that for such a compact MS-DOS compatible PC? Not bad, right? So let's start the game again and select this time sound canvas with high resolution. And as you can see, this totally works. You can see activity on my Roland sound canvas. And somehow the joystick still works. So there you have it. That diagram is how in 2024 I roll with Descent 1, and similar games might I add, like the sequel Descent 2 or X-Wing, TIE Fighter, or even the Wing Commander series. Games that can really exploit those buttons and thumbsticks. You be the judge if this rabbit hole is worth it, but I certainly had fun exploring it. If you want to know more about the USB for VC, I made another video on my main channel 1-Bit Fever Dreams, and I show I can even use it with a 1986 Mac Plus. I'll put the links to where you can purchase one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.